Hey yogis, I'm Larissa. We have been doing power stance all month long at the Funky Buddha. You guys have been doing an amazing job. And what we want to do now is give you guys a little video that you can play with at home. So some tutorials that you can play with your yoga practice at home. One of the things from power stance is going to help you with your hop forwards. So we'll quick go through power stance. Toes up, from your arches to your inner groin, hug in. That gives you access to the base of your core. Pull your hip points up, pull your ribs down towards your hip points. Draw your upper arm bones up and back. Lift the base of your skull as you pull your upper arm bones down. All of this puts your body on line and gives you access to this center line, which is super important when you start jumping and throwing your body through space. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can play with your hop forwards. And it looks something like this. From downward facing dog, you're going to walk your feet together and walk them forward more, so you're shortening your downward facing dog. This line of energy from your arches to your inner groins, again, is super important when you start to throw your legs up. You don't really want to throw your legs up. We want you to do it with control. Use the base of your core. Use that access point by squeezing from your arches to your inner groin. And then pull your shoulders over your wrists. Look down rather than at your feet. The natural tendency is to look at your feet because they're moving. Look down instead to help stabilize you. Coming way up on your tiptoes, lift your hips higher so there's less movement that has to happen. And then again, arches to inner groins, hug in, give yourself a little movement, and hop. Your first couple of hops, maybe it's just a little hop when you land here, and then you walk forward. No big deal. But we're looking at hip height rather than trying to get your feet underneath. So we'll do a couple of those hops, feet together, way up on your tiptoes, shoulders over wrists. Squeeze your inseams, little hop. We'll do that a couple more times. Squeeze inseams, shoulders over wrists. Sometimes you can get a little hover. That's the control portion. And it comes from that access point of the base of your core, arches to inner groin, hug in. One more way that you can play with this is to actually separate your knees. That gives you a little bit more buoyancy, a little bit more room to move your hips up and down. That one goes like this. Again, you're right up against a wall, so that if you overjump, the wall is going to catch you. And in your home practice, hopefully you have some wall space that you can find. If you don't, you can actually do this next to your bed, and you'll just flip over on your bed, and you'll be just fine. So plant your hands, downward facing dog. Squeeze your feet together. Again, you're going to shorten your downward facing dog. Only this time, I'm going to squeeze my heels together and I'm going to separate my knees. So now, I'm starting to breathe hard because jumps are hard. But now, I've got a little bit more buoyancy. You guys see the difference? So, knees together, a little bit of a bounce. Knees apart, now all of a sudden I have a lot more room to bounce. But the idea is that once you get to the top of that bounce, you're still hugging your inseams, squeezing your inner thighs. That one goes like this. Shoulders over wrists, same thing. Squeeze your inseams, bend your knees wide, hop. One more time, shoulders over wrists, bend your knees wide, hop. All of that hard work, make sure you're breathing while you're doing it. Again, this is just a way that you can put power stance into practice. When you're at home, set yourself right up against a wall or right next to your bed. Play with your hops, and as always, let us know if you have any questions.